Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Danielle and thanks so much for watching my video. I assume if you're here it's because you need some advice for becoming a lifeguard. Maybe you're considering becoming a lifeguard, maybe you already signed up for your courses. Either way, even if you're just thinking about it, do it. It is absolutely fantastic. It's a great job, great experience, looks awesome on a resume. It's just an overall good time, super beneficial for you. So I super duper recommend becoming a lifeguard if you at least have somewhat of a desire to. I don't think you'll regret it at all. It is 100% worth it in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, so if you're clicking on this, it's probably because you need advice for your lifeguard courses, and that's what I'm here for. I have been a lifeguard for just over a year now. Now it's been a little while and I absolutely adore it. My number one piece of advice is to take your courses seriously and be responsible in them. If you're signing up for your courses, you're gonna have to learn pretty quick to take it seriously, and you're gonna have to be responsible. Being a responsible person, mature is a huge part of being a lifeguard. So they're really gonna look for that from you in your lifeguard courses as well. You're gonna be learning a lot of things in them that are real life that you one day may need to apply to a situation you're in. So I would take them seriously so that you are prepared. Take them seriously now, and then it'll make it a lot easier down the road. Plus, you're probably never going to get through your lifeguard courses if you aren't taking it seriously, because I totally understand, we all like to have fun, and it's not that you can't have fun in your lifeguard courses, but there's the appropriate times, and for the most part, your instructor is going to get pretty annoyed if you're interrupting and goofing off and not taking it seriously. But there are going to be times where you can have fun, josh around. It's totally cool. But once again, yeah, take your courses seriously. You have to understand that they aren't teaching you this for fun. They're teaching you this stuff because it totally could happen. I've dealt with incidents before. I've jumped in the pool, had to deal with a stroke, an allergic reaction, a severe allergic reaction. There's lots of things that could go wrong. And honestly, I'm so grateful that I did take my courses pretty seriously, because now when we do situations and something happens, it's instinct. I'm ready to go, which is great. I would hate to be just have another step to add on, holy crap, what do I do now? I'm panicking. If you take it seriously in practice, you just go, you're gonna be fine. So take it seriously, as well as be responsible. Understand that there is a huge amount of responsibility that comes with being a lifeguard. You gotta think about it. If something happens, you could be totally liable. If you are on deck, so you're supposed to be guarding, watching the pool, and someone drowns, definitely, some liability coming in there. So just so you're aware that, you do need to be responsible and take your job seriously down the road, and also your courses, because it does fall on your head. It's your head on the chopping block. So I would super recommend to take it all seriously. But that being said, remember, you can still have fun. Your lifeguard courses are so much fun. So don't stress too much about that. Just be mature. Just don't act super childish, and don't tick off your instructor. All right. Number 2, my second piece of advice would be to, before your lifeguard courses, go practice treading water and your distance swim beforehand. For all your lifeguarding courses, you are going to have some kind of endurance activity, distance swim activity. So go out and practice before. Why stress yourself out even more if you're hey, oh my goodness, I have to swim 400 meters in 10 minutes. I don't know if I can do that. If you don't know if you can do it, that's just extra stress you're adding on. Then go practice it. Super reasonable, and it's great. The more you practice it, the less nervous you're going to be. I'm not saying you have to train for 2 months straight, but even a week before, if you go once or twice, just to get comfortable in the water and ready, it takes the edge off a bit. And same with treading water too. You're going to be doing tons of treading water, and it's all going to be basically no hands. So be prepared for that. Treading water is still another endurance activity. If you haven't done it for a while, it's going to be tiring. You're going to get pretty tired. So I would just recommend beforehand, go out, practice your kicks and your treading water, and just see, which one of my life-saving kicks are the strongest, which one do I prefer using, and just, start slowly building your endurance up. That's going to help you a ton in your courses. All right, number 3. My third piece of advice is to take first aid and your CPR before your lifeguard courses, or as early as you can throughout your whole becoming a lifeguard process. I took my my first aid and CPR before my bronze medallion, bronze cross, NLA, NWSI before all my lifeguarding courses, and it helped me tremendously. Like, I never would have expected it to help so much, but like that's me. I should have put that as number one, because it might be my number one piece of advice is to take that course before you take any of your other courses. Like, it gives you a really good idea for what to expect and like what it's like to deal with, you know, life-threatening situations, because maybe you find out like, hey, you get really anxious or upset when you're handling them, and maybe it's not for you. So it's a great way that you're not spending, you know, like $300 per course otherwise to take it. Like, you kind of test the waters. But also during your lifeguarding courses, they will go over all of your life-saving techniques, different emergencies that can happen. They're going to go over all of that, but it's a ton. They pack it in. Like in mine, we talked about it briefly, my bronze medallion, bronze cross, and NLA. I didn't even think we did it in NLA. I think we just did it bronze cross, bronze medallion. And it was like 2 hours. We went through a ton of things, and then you're expected to know how to react, what each thing is right after. So for me, thank goodness, I was so grateful that I had taken my first aid and CPRC beforehand, because it took that stress right off. It helped me so much. And same with the CPR instruction you get in your first aid class is a lot different than the CPR. Well, it's not a lot different, but it's a lot more in depth than you're going to get in your bronze medallion or bronze cross, just because there isn't time for it. So it helps you a ton. Like, it saves you so much, because you're not trying to figure out all this stuff in there. And by having that like 3-day first aid course to practice, it's a good practice for your lifeguard scenarios. And it kind of takes, once again, it just takes the edge off of your anxiety and stuff for that, because you know what to do. You've done it so much before. You're going to have situations in your first aid class. So it was just great. I 10 out of 10 recommend doing your first aid as early as you possibly can as well. So I know in Canada, to be a lifeguard, you need your first aid and CPRC, which is like a course together. So I live in Canada, I'm talking on behalf of Canadian standards, specifically Saskatchewan standards for becoming a lifeguard. I would definitely check the state you're in, the province you're in, and also the country you're in to see what the different regulations are, because there are different first aid classes that you can take, and not all of them are the correct ones that you can take for becoming a lifeguard. So I would call your aquatic center, your pool, whatever. They should have someone there that knows the steps, and if not, they'll pass it off to a lifeguard who can tell you exactly what you need to take, and that'll help a ton. So either Google or search beforehand, or call a pool and see what you need to become a lifeguard where you live. But yes, so take your first aid and CPRC as soon as you can. It'll help you so much. I can't stress that one enough. My fourth piece of advice is, don't worry if you aren't an incredible swimmer, whether that be like endurance, technique-wise. Endurance, you do need to have some. You can't be a super weak swimmer. Maybe you're super scared of the water. You're gonna have to get pretty comfortable, and you're gonna have like, you know, decent endurance. I'm not saying like rip out 20 laps and then be able to, you know, like do 20 push-ups kind of thing, but you have to be pretty comfortable being in the water for long amounts of time, at least supporting your own weight, towing people once in a while. And same thing goes for technique. Don't worry if your technique isn't perfect. Mine sure wasn't. I didn't know 3 of the 5 strokes going into my lifeguarding courses and to become a swimming lessons instructor. And I was totally fine. As long as you have a positive attitude, try really hard, and have like a decent level of physical activity, like you're okay, like moderately active, and can swim, like a couple laps and be like, okay, whether that be on your back or like head up out of the water. It doesn't have to all be like super intense competitive front crawl or butterfly or anything. As long as you can just make it back and forth reasonably, you'll be fine. So don't worry about that. I know a lot of people in my class too were super stressed out about not being the strongest swimmer ever. And I was super stressed out because I was not the strongest swimmer ever. I could swim for a very long time, but I was slow. My technique wasn't very good, but my endurance was awesome. And it came just like everything else. Like as I took courses and practice, it all kind of came together. And now like my endurance is there. My technique is somewhat better, I would say. It's, not as bad as when I started. And yeah, so don't stress if you aren't a world-class swimmer. Maybe you haven't swam in a while. Like I said, hop in a pool once or twice before your course if you can. But even if you don't, it's not the end of the world. You'll get it there. They'll give you some time. And they understand, some people haven't swam for a year and then they take these lifeguard courses. So don't stress if you aren't an Olympics swimmer, you know. My 5th tip is to be open-minded during your courses. You're going to be receiving so much feedback and so many different ideas from other people, so be open-minded. Don't close yourself off. Don't think it's my way or the highway, or it's going to really suck and you might not even make it through. Part of being a lifeguard is being a team player, being open-minded, being able to take feedback. So be open-minded. It's okay. You know what? You're going to hear lots of different things. In my water safety instructor course, because like I said, my strokes sucked. I didn't know 3 out of the 6 strokes. So I was constantly like, give me feedback, please. And it helped me out a lot because it showed that I wanted to learn. And it also, I could take advice. I could be a team player, and I was just open to other people's ideas. And same thing throughout your lifeguarding courses, are going to be people who will do stuff differently than you. And that doesn't mean that their way is wrong, or that their way is wrong or worse than yours. It just means that, you guys have 2 different ways of doing it. You might even like parts of theirs to incorporate in your way, or maybe you like their whole way. But that was like the biggest thing I found too in my lifeguarding courses, is that I had to be open-minded and receptive. My 6th tip is to be confident and participate. I originally had this one written down as to be a leader, but I had to say, I don't know if I don't think that saying be a leader was the right phrase for the point I was trying to make, because being a leader can mean different things. I don't think you obviously can be a leader by saying like, hey, you do this, you do that, like somebody who delegates rules to everyone is in charge, but that doesn't mean that the people that are doing these duties that aren't number one also aren't a leader. You can be a leader in your own way, I find. And so anyways, that's why I didn't use it. So instead I used to be confident and participate. Your lifeguarding courses, the number one thing they're going to want to see is participation and confidence. Okay, so participate as much as you can. You're going to get so much more out of your lifeguard courses, and it's going to go a lot better. You're just going to enjoy it more, first of all. So like I was trying to say, is just because you aren't delegating these different roles doesn't mean that you aren't being a leader. If I said, hey, Brian, go get that first aid kit, and then Brian, I'm telling him something, but Brian could say, yeah, I'm gonna go get that first aid kit, make sure somebody grabs the AED and somebody else goes and calls 911. Or you can even just ask like, hey, I'll grab the first aid kit, who's calling 911? Just because you aren't delegating those roles doesn't mean you're not involved, doesn't mean that you're not a leader by any means. Just participate, that's all it is. And communication is so key as well. I should have mentioned that earlier, but yes, communication, participation, and confidence. And another thing that I want to touch on too is that just because you're shy doesn't mean you can't be confident and that you can't be a leader as well. I totally get it. It's scary, especially with people you don't know and the pressure. It's hard to speak up, especially if you're not as much of an extrovert, and that's totally fine. But that doesn't mean that you can't participate and that you're not a leader. You can be a leader in other ways that maybe don't put you out there as much, such as, okay, so say I'm the person saying like, hey, Brian, you go do this. Hey, Julia, you go do that. But you could be that person down there checking the victim's breathing, like, hey, this person isn't breathing, and doing that, secondary scan, getting stuff ready for when the CPR mask comes in, your first aid kit, your AED, etc. So maybe you're not, saying blah, 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 do this, do that, but you're still involved, active, confident, and being a leader in your own way. You're taking charge, like, yeah, I'm going to check this guy, make sure he's good. You figure that out, but I'm going to be over here doing this. So don't worry if you're shy, you're okay. Just participate. Make a friend in the course, that's going to help a lot too, and communicate. Everyone is just as stressed out, and as panicky as you are, so don't worry. Even if someone seems like they're totally in control, cool, suave, doesn't mean that they're not freaking out inside just as much as you are. So relax, enjoy it. Yeah. So to recap on all my advice, take it seriously, be confident, participate, practice some stuff beforehand, be open-minded, and if you can, take your first aid before. That's basically everything in there. And one more thing that I want to add is have fun. Like I said, you want to take it seriously, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun. Have fun in your courses. Enjoy yourself. They are a blast. They're super interesting. They're super overwhelming and stressful, but they're also absolutely incredible. So give it all you got. try hard. You're gonna do just fine. I hope it goes super duper well for you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'm gonna try and make some videos on how to become a lifeguard, the steps there, like go through maybe some of the standards for bronze cross and bronze medallion, because I actually do teach those now. I just got my LSI certification, which is awesome, and I'm hoping to get my NLA. But anyways, yeah, so I can definitely make videos on those. And like I said, if you have any other questions, please feel free to comment below. You got this. Try your hardest. You can do it. I'm here for you. Bye, guys. See ya.